Hello friends and welcome to Tutorials Point. Well, be it any language that we use to communicate, being fluent in that particular language is very important, isn't it? Of course, grammar, vocabulary, fluency, phonetics, a lot of things actually go behind you being you being a pro at any particular language, but fluency again is a very important pillar. And in this video, we will discuss about certain tips or certain probably certain things which you can get to use to make your English really fluent, right? Of course, we might have enhanced our vocabulary, we might be very good at grammar and everything, but until unless we are fluent in English, no, these things definitely would be of no use, right? So let's go ahead and see certain tips which we can actually get to use to make our English fluent. Okay, now let's think in a very candid manner. Be it any language that you are comfortable in, it could be probably your native language, or any language that you think that you are very fluent and comfortable in. How did you actually learn that language? Just reflect upon it. How did you actually learn that language? Of course, we started learning when we were kids, isn't it? So as kids, what did we do? What was it that did actually like whatever language which used to be probably used to communicate at our home was the one which we picked up very quickly, or was the one which we first picked up, isn't it? Now the question is, how did we pick that up? Now think about it. Was it through observation? Yes, it was. So observation is the first thing, right? So here what happens is, observation is something that can actually help you a lot to learn, right? So as kids we started observing, right? And then what happens is, when we observed as kids, we observed certain words which probably our elders spoke at our home, is when we slowly and steadily started to pick them up. Now if we actually drill a step down, what was happening during that observation time? What did we actually do? So when we let's take an example of an apple, right? So when we observed this fruit, or whenever probably someone tried to teach us the name of this fruit, what was the first thing, or what was it that actually helped us to learn that name, right? What was it? So it was that particular image or that particular thought. So the moment I would say this word apple, there's this immediate thought that actually clicks in our mind, isn't it? And that is how, when we attached this thought to a particular word, it is then that that thing actually came into being for us. So without a thought or a word, it cannot exist, isn't it? So now what happens is, whatever we think, that converts into words, right? So we kept seeing an apple, and slowly and steadily that name, when it was attached to that particular thought, we started to speak it out, isn't it? That is the very basic of learning. Now thoughts convert to words, right? So whatever you think is what you are actually going to convert to words. Now the point is, as kids, why was it all so easy for us to pick up? Because whatever we were thinking, we were converting it in that particular language. Or let us assume any language. Now also, if you are fluent with, what is it that makes you fluent in that language? First of all, anything that you're speaking, right, there is a thought which is associated with it, right? So you are thinking, and then there are words which collaborate with that particular thought, and we actually speak it out, isn't it? Now how are you actually thinking? Are you thinking in a particular language and speaking it out in another language? If you are doing that, that is where the problem is, because we are thinking and we are converting it, right? So once you're converting it, what is happening? There's a lot of colloquialism which is coming into play, which means we are speaking any particular thing basis what we are thinking. So here, that is the first thing which you need to take cognizance of, that every time, see, thoughts are something that are going to run throughout the day in your mind, right? So how about you probably start thinking about it in English, right? So just imagine you're walking on the road. Of course, you are silent on the surface, but deep inside there are multiple thoughts running in your mind. And what is actually thought? Thought is nothing but whatever you are communicating with yourself. Everything that you are saying to yourself is a thought, right? Even if you are silent on the outside, that doesn't matter, because some conversation for sure is going on inside. Now take a deeper look and try and observe in which language is this conversation going on. Now, if at that root level you are able to change that entire process, which means you start to think in English. Let us say that I'm standing here, this is a camera right here in front of me. Wow, the color of the camera is blue. Oh my God, everything around is green, or the sky is blue, or the dress that I'm wearing is blue, or my nail paint is red. Okay, now whatever I'm thinking on the inside is all in English. Okay, and now when I convert it, it is gonna be correct, or it is gonna be easy for me, right? But on the contrary, if I am thinking in one particular language and then I'm making an effort to convert into some other language, definitely things are going to go for a toss, right? So the first thing that you need to do is, thoughts convert to words, as I already told, right? But we think in our local language and convert it into English and speak it out. So when that is going to happen, definitely it is going to go for a toss. So what are you going to do is, from right now, so if you start now itself, what are you going to do is, whenever you are talking to yourself, right? Because thought is what is a thought? Thought is whatever you are telling yourself, right? So this conversation which is going on within yourself, start doing that in English. That's okay. Slowly and steadily you'll all improvise, but start doing that conversation in English, right? Once you start doing that, of course, slowly and steadily, seamlessly and effortlessly, you're going to become fluent, right? Now, here, as I already told you, think in English, observe in English. That is very right. Try to express in English. Now, first of all, I was going back home and I saw a car on the way, right? Now, okay, this car is red in color. Okay, this car is so and so model. Okay, it has a capacity of maybe 5 people. Okay, it looks very, very elegant. Okay, all of these things is what I'm thinking in my mind, right? So once I start thinking in English, and okay, then now what will happen is, slowly and steadily, whatever words which will come on my, whatever words that I'll speak out from my mouth will automatically become very, very fluent, right? Because now that effort of converting it from my local language to English and then speaking it out is not there. So that huge step and that huge effort is cut down, right? So that is when you will become fluent. Because what is fluency? Means you're speaking in a flow. There is no hindrance, right? So why now, if you probably try and introspect, why does that hindrance come? It comes because we are in that process of converting, right? From my local language, because now I have to speak it out in some other language, so I'm trying to convert it. So during that entire conversion is when all the errors and everything comes in. And then what happens is, whatever I'll speak, neither will it be in proper flow, nor would it be in proper grammar also, right? So then what will I have to do? Wait, think, wait, and then say, and then there'll be many stops in whatever I speak, and it won't be fluent. So once I'm thinking in English, so that entire process is bypassed, and now it's happening very, very effortlessly. It's like a cakewalk, because that process of conversion I need not to do it now, right? So this is a very profound thing. You might want to sit and contemplate it and then probably get it to use. But start thinking in English, start observing in English, and then you will, you'll actually see. Maybe you probably might want to take baby steps at a time. But then you will actually slowly and gradually, you will see that difference, that whatever you would be speaking would be very fluent. Though it would happen slowly, but it will happen over time. Okay, now as I already told you, as kids we observed, copied and replicated. Yes, that is what we did, isn't it? We observed, okay, my elder used a particular language, this is how he or she spoke. Okay, now I observed it, now I'm trying to copy it, now I'm trying to replicate it, isn't it? This is again a very important part of learning, right? So as of course, and we attach an action or an object to a particular word. Yes, that is very right. If I heard a word apple, it cannot exist until unless there is a particular image in my mind of that particular word. If I say this color red, until unless I have a particular image of that color in my mind, no, that word only will not exist for me, right? So what is the importance of observing, copying and replicating? What is the importance of that? Here is what I'll tell you here. Okay, now the importance of observing, copying and replicating comes into use while you are practicing, right? So let's go step by step. So first of all, now we sorted out that issue. Okay, now I'm thinking, I'm observing, I'm thinking in English, and I'm trying to speak it out in English. Fine, that's happening. Now the second important step is, with whom do I practice, right? You learned driving, but until unless you practice it on road, is it of any use? No, it is not, because without practice, it's actually null and void, no use. So you have to find out someone with whom you can actually practice to speak in English, right? Then so what if you do not find out anyone? What do you do in that case? Because that will be a huge if condition in this entire scenario, right? So what are you going to do? Interact with yourself in English? Yes, that is true. You're not you definitely are not mad because you're sitting and blabbering to yourself. No, that is not the case. You are learning because you have no one to interact on the outside, so you are gonna be your own teacher, your own tutor, right? And you are gonna start speaking to yourself. Maybe you might not speak out as loud to actually gather a lot of attention, but yes, you definitely might want to start talking to yourself. Okay. Well, writing again is another very good idea on a daily basis. That definitely is a very good way of practice. How about you? Maybe diary writing, maybe just writing whatever happened with you throughout the day is again another word, because while you're writing also, a lot of brainstorming is going on, right? You're thinking a lot. Okay, what word do I give to my expression? How do I write it? How do I describe the situation which I faced today, right? So writing again, a very important tip. Okay, now try to interact as much as you can. That is very right. So now think, how did you become fluent in any particular language that you are in? Of course, it only happened through interaction. So try and interact. Of course, if you happen to find someone, wow, then that is like great. But try and interact as much as you can. Now, it might sound like a very hilarious idea, but it is a good one. You might want to give it a try. Yes, you can call a customer care center. Probably, maybe create some situation. Okay, this is a product. What are the qualities of this product? Or when do you think would this product be delivered? Is it returnable? Or what is the what cost would it come up to? What are the reviews of this product? And all these questions. Maybe just create some scenario and just call them. Probably, if you don't find anyone to talk to, you can use this idea. Yes, it is going to help a lot. Try it out. It might just sound very funny to you in the start, Of course, because it is very, very interesting and funny, you might even want to do it again and again, and you will not even realize that because you kept doing it again and again. So without even realizing, your English just improved way too much. Okay, another very, very important you know trick or tip which you can use to improvise your English is trying to paraphrase written sentences. Yes, that's very true. So you have these newspapers or maybe novels or maybe any article that you read, right? So what you can actually do is try and paraphrase it. So what is paraphrasing? You read any particular article, you got an understanding of whatever is the content, right? So now what you did is you are writing it in your own words, right? So because you are choosing your own words, again a lot of brainstorming is going on, you're thinking a lot, how do you describe that? And of course, because you're thinking a lot, again you one way or the other you are honing your skills, right? Okay, now another very, very funny idea, maybe you might want to do it, is talking in front of the mirror. Yes, that is a very common practice if you observe amongst people who probably are maybe going for an interview or going for an audition, or or if they want to appear for anything that is new to them, right? So definitely this is a very, very good idea. Yes, you can do that, talking in front of the mirror. Yes, why not? Why do you why do we create such barriers within our mind? We need not to. Yes, you can be your own tutor, nothing wrong with that. Okay, now another very, very important tip is that use simple words. Yes, that is very right. There is no doubt that enhancing your vocabulary is a very, very good idea, and definitely I support it a lot. But while you are in your initial stages, don't try and complicate it a lot, because you are still fledgling, right? You're still learning, and if you try and push your mind a lot to incorporate so many different words of different vocabulary, you might end up probably breaking your flow a lot. So which might not be a very, very good idea in the start. Yes, to start off with, it is always good to use simple words. Slowly and steadily, using probably higher and advanced vocabulary would become very, very easy for you. Then it's a cakewalk, then good to go. But while you are starting, try and use simple words, because it's actually, everything starts with baby steps, isn't it? Okay, try to think in English. Yes, as I already told you, another very, very important thing that you can do is think in English. If you feel everything else fails, you cannot talk to anyone else, you cannot talk to yourself, you cannot do it in front of the mirror, just think in English. So what is thinking? As I already told you, what are thoughts? Thoughts are nothing but whatever you are saying to yourself throughout the day. So be it you saying aloud outside, or be it you saying while you're silent on the outside, you're actually talking to yourself. So why not change from the very, very root, from the very, very basic? So start using English to actually think. Okay, now here, as kids, we observed, copied and replicated, right? Here is what I actually meant by that, or why is that important. Seeing English movies or web series, yes, that is very important, right? So as kids, right, we observed, we saw, we replicated, right? That is how we learned. Now when you see English movies or web series or interviews or news or any article, even if you read it, what is happening during that? You're actually listening, you're observing a lot. There are different words, many, many new words which you'll encounter, and because you'll encounter plethora of new words, you definitely will be very, very intrigued to learn them. And not only that, your pronunciations, your grammar, everything will improve, and that also in a very, very interesting way, right? It's not you're tried and monotonous and prosaic way of learning, right? You're enjoying, you're seeing a web series, and simultaneously, without even realizing, you are learning. Isn't that like, what better could it be? You're enjoying learning. What better could it be, right? So that is how you can actually get it to use, right? So start probably seeing as many English movies or interviews, web series, whatever you encounter or whatever you find interesting, and that is how you will actually observe that you improved a lot in your English. At least this is what I did while I was actually I do it today also. Why not? Of course I do, because there's so much to be learned. There is so much to learn in this entire world. Learning is an unending process. So even I do that till date, yes, and I will keep doing it because I love doing that. I love learning that way. It should not be very, very dull and monotonous for us, right? So this is a very, very interesting way to do, right? So, and to top everything, what is really important is, yes, don't worry about being wrong, okay? Because that will spoil the entire process. Yes, that is very true. You don't have to, satisfy your perfectionist image, which is there ingrained in your mind. That is okay. There is nothing like perfect. We all commit errors. And because we commit errors, we grow. And because we commit errors, we are alive. So you don't have to at all worry about being wrong. You just have to focus on learning, right? Rather, just enjoy that entire process. You don't have to just speak it out. That's okay. You just probably we need to break these barriers of being judged on the outside. That is okay. Even if someone is judging, that is their mindset, that is their process. We need not to hinder our growth because of this fear of being judged, right? And this fear is something that definitely is a huge impediment for anything and everything, right? Even if you're learning English or you're learning anything else, fear of being judged is something which can actually hamper our growth, and we don't want to do that, right? So be fearless, keep learning, keep enjoying this entire process, and you will see a change, right? So friends, this was all about being fluent in English. We will see you again in the next video. Till that time, keep learning with Tutorials Point and Tutorix. Have a good day.